Imagine being in a live interview, in front of millions of people, and suddenly, your shoulder moves on its own. Your eye starts blinking uncontrollably. Your head turns without your permission. Now, imagine that happening every single day. Not because you're nervous. Not because you're distracted. But because your own body has stopped following your commands. It's like your mind says, "Don't do that," and your body goes, "I'm doing it anyway." Today, you're going to learn about one of the most misunderstood neurological syndromes in the world, Tourette Syndrome. A condition that makes your body move, speak, and react, without your say-so. And more than that, we are going to show you how well-known celebrities live with it every day, silently, in front of the cameras and behind them too. So get ready, because what you're about to hear could change the way you see Tourette's, and maybe even how you see the behavior of people around you. Tourette syndrome, or TS, isn't actually a rare condition. It's estimated that 1 in every 100 people has some form of it. But even though it's relatively common, it's still surrounded by prejudice, jokes, and a massive lack of understanding. Tourette's is a neurological disorder that usually appears in childhood, between the ages of 5 and 10, and it shows up mainly through what are called tics. These can be motor tics, like blinking, head jerking, or facial grimacing, or vocal tics, like coughing, grunting, repeating words, or even involuntarily shouting out swearing. But let's be clear, not everyone with Tourette's is out there yelling obscenities. That particular symptom, called coprolalia, only occurs in around 10% of cases. The majority of people have more subtle tics, but even then, they can still be extremely uncomfortable and socially awkward. Now think with me, how do you live like this in a world where anything different is judged straight away? How do you control something your own brain can't? Despite the challenges, there are people who not only live with Tourette's, they shine, inspire, and break barriers every single day. Let's now meet 5 celebrities who live with this condition and prove, with guts and grace, that having Tourette's isn't the end, it's just a different way of starting. First on our list is none other than Billie Eilish. Singer, songwriter, multiple Grammy winner, and living with Tourette syndrome. She opened up about it quite spontaneously, after fans started sharing videos online that showed her tics. Instead of hiding, Billie decided to speak up. She explained that her tics are physical, things like quick movements in her neck, eyes, and head. And that when she's focused, like during interviews or performances, they tend to show up more. She said, "Some people think it's funny, or think I'm trying to be quirky. But I'm not. It's something I can't control." Her honesty came as a relief to many. Seeing such a talented, successful young artist living with Tourette's made room for a real conversation around the condition. What most people don't know is that Billie struggled a lot as a child. She had severe anxiety because of her tics. In interviews, she shared how she used to feel trapped in her own body. But she found refuge in music, and more importantly, in expressing herself freely. She also said she hesitated to go public about her diagnosis, worried people wouldn't take her seriously as an artist. But the reaction was incredible. She received thousands of messages from fans who also live with Tourette's and finally felt seen. Today, she inspires millions of young people to embrace their uniqueness. She proves that vulnerability is also strength. And the most amazing part? She never lets Tourette's define her. Billie shows us that yes, you can be a star, even if your body sometimes moves on its own. Lele Pons is famous for her humor, her viral videos, and for being one of the biggest digital influencers on the planet. But behind the funny sketches and the bright smile, Lele lives with something serious. She has Tourette syndrome and OCD, obsessive-compulsive disorder. In her documentary, she spoke about her struggles, her tics, and the moments where her mind and body felt completely disconnected. Lele shared that she's been bullied because of her Tourette's, that she spent years not understanding why she'd make certain movements or say things she didn't mean to. And for a long time, she was ashamed of her condition. She also said that as a teenager, she would isolate herself just to avoid stares and judgment. Her tics got worse under stress, which made her feel even more anxious and self-conscious. Many times, she tried to hide the symptoms, creating a version of herself that seemed more acceptable to the public. But all that did was increase the pressure. It was only when she started opening up to her fans that she realized she didn't have to pretend anymore. Acceptance came slowly, and with support from the people who truly mattered. So what did she do? She turned it all into strength. She decided to talk about it, raise awareness, and support others who go through the same struggles silently. She proved that yes, you can live, create content, laugh at yourself, and even become one of the world's biggest influencers, even when your body wants to do the opposite. Now let's step onto the sports field. Tim Howard is one of the most respected goalkeepers in American football. He played in the Premier League, represented the US national team, and is remembered for one of the most incredible performances in World Cup history. And he has Tourette's. Tim was diagnosed as a child. He says both motor and vocal tics have always been a part of his life, and football became his escape, or rather, his outlet. While others looked at him with confusion, on the pitch, he was unstoppable. Disciplined, focused, lightning quick. He learned how to turn the energy of his tics into razor-sharp concentration. Instead of fighting his body, he made peace with it. Tim Howard is a symbol of resilience. He proved that Tourette's isn't a limitation, it's just a bend in the road, and that it's possible to go far beyond what anyone expects. If you're into basketball, you might know Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. He played in the NBA during the 90s and was known for his speed, precision, and for being different. Mahmoud has Tourette Syndrome, and it directly impacted his routine on the court. He developed repetitive rituals before shooting, had body and facial tics that, at first, no one really understood. He faced heavy prejudice, was misunderstood, and missed out on opportunities. But he never gave up. He faced the stigma head-on and kept playing at an elite level. Today, Mahmoud is a speaker, activist, and a powerful voice for people living with the syndrome. He shows that Tourette's isn't a weakness, it's just a detail. And behind the tics is a sharp mind and a courageous heart. Finally, let's talk about someone you might not have heard of yet, Jean-Marc Lorber. He's a teacher, writer, public speaker, and one of the loudest voices fighting for inclusion of people with Tourette's across Europe. Jean-Marc lives with intense vocal and motor tics. He's been kicked out of classrooms, fired from jobs, and rejected in relationships because of the syndrome. But instead of going quiet, he wrote books. Instead of hiding, he stepped onto stages. He delivers powerful talks about how society needs to look beyond involuntary movement and understand that behind Tourette's, there's a full human being, filled with ideas, dreams, and emotions. Jean-Marc is living proof that the body may act without permission, but the soul stays steady, aware, and brave. Tourette's is exactly that, an invisible condition that shouts through movement. A silent noise that few people understand. But it's real. It hurts. It drains you. And it needs compassion. These people show that you can live, shine, and succeed, even when your body doesn't play along. We need to stop judging what we don't understand. We need to start listening with our eyes, feeling with our hearts, and welcoming others with respect. Because in the end, everyone is fighting something you can't see. And Tourette's is just one of those invisible battles. If this video helped you in any way, don't forget to give it a like. It really helps show that this kind of content matters to you. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button now. Here, we talk about real, human topics that deserve to be heard with an open heart. Oh, and there's another amazing video right here on the screen. Go ahead and click it. Stick around with us, because you can never have too much knowledge and never enough empathy. Catch you next time, and remember, sometimes the body acts without permission, but the heart always knows the right way.